Hello, my fellow residents. So, today I got to play the Battlefield 1 open beta that everyone's been playing, but I gotta say, I've got just one thing about the game I'm not a very big fan of. Now, to begin with, I've played all the Battlefield games that they have ever made. The newer Battlefield games I haven't really been a big fan of, simply because they've been really hectic, fast-paced experiences that have been less about the teamwork aspect and more about the just blow everything up, who the hell cares, throw you in a million things at once kind of gameplay that I'm not really the biggest enjoyer of. I feel like this game is taking a lot of mechanics like third-person gameplay when you're riding a horse, automatically spawning into a vehicle in mid-flight when you're in a helicopter or an airplane or something like that. I feel like Battlefield 1 is doing all that stuff that you would have seen in Star Wars Battlefront and making it core features of the game, things you would have never seen in the original Battlefield games at all. That being said, all of these things I'd be okay with, the fast-paced nature of it and all that stuff, because I guess World War I has to be really awesome and cool now for some reason. I feel like all that stuff would have been fine, but I've got a really key problem with this game. It doesn't feel different at all. I don't know what's up over at DICE, but they've literally made a Battlefield game that feels like all the other Battlefield games. I have no idea how you take Battlefield 1, taking place in World War I, and make it feel like a modernized battle in Battlefield 4, but you did it somehow. Amazingly, you did it, and I don't know why you did it. I was expecting something a little bit more slower paced with more heated battles in moments, but what you guys have done is you've just thrown everybody at every point you possibly could to make it this really messy and mindless experience that I didn't find myself enjoying too much. The best way to explain it is this. Let's say there's a squad of 2 people and another squad of 2 people. They're on opposing sides of the armies. And each of these squads are going to a single point, like a flag or something, to capture it. What should transpire at this point are these squads fighting each other for the point, and whichever squad remains from killing the other 2 or the others captures the point, right? That's what should happen. But in Battlefield 1, people can spawn on those squads to make 2 people instantly become 5 people. And people can be flying over top in airplanes where they can spawn into those airplanes and drop down and cause havoc. Or at any given moment, a million things can happen with vehicles and stuff where you don't really have any good way to defend against that stuff. And it's all happening super, super fast. I don't like this. When 2 squads are fighting over a point, you shouldn't be able to spawn into that zone. But you do. You constantly do that. This game isn't so much about the slower pace of taking over a point strategically. It's literally about the fast-paced, hectic nature of battles that make it a very unenjoyable and just unworthy experience of previous Battlefield games. Now look, I know that they probably are going to change the beta a lot and move things forward in a different way, and possibly they're going to do things that limit spawn points and spawn squads and all that fun crap. But this game shouldn't feel like this in the beta form. It should feel a little bit kind of different. You see, Call of Duty is jumping towards that whole really fast gameplay, everything's going on, but they're doing it in that way because they're trying to become an esport. Even though Call of Duty at its craziest is a very fast experience, it's still something that people can understand by looking at it. They know what's going on, they know how things are playing. But in Battlefield, because of how big and open the worlds are, you almost feel like you don't have any really good way to defend yourself. Sniper rifles in this game are deadly. It doesn't matter where you are. If somebody has a sniper rifle, you'll see the reflection somewhere in the distance from their scope looking at you. And as soon as you see that, you're dead. There's no way for you to defend against that. As soon as you see that sniper scope reflection, you don't have a choice but to either duck and hide behind something or just stand there and get killed. Because the world is so big, and if you don't have the right weapon to attack them, you screwed up. You chose the wrong character to fight in that specific instance. It's just a lot of fast stuff that just doesn't work. Every bit of this game feels massive, but it just feels like they took all the mechanics and components from the newer Battlefield games and stuffed it into a World War I mechanic where things are already limited enough. I don't know why it feels this way, but the game just doesn't have a strong feeling. It's got something that feels more like they didn't really care so much about matching what World War I is all about and felt like they were trying to stuff all the mechanics from a Vietnam era game into this one, which is nuts, but that's what it feels like. Now, personally, I know that this being a beta, right? All this could change and the future of this game could be something completely different. But what I can tell right now is that the guys that are making this game don't know what the fuck World War I was at all. They literally made a game that is crazy, mindless, and insane, and has very little strategy to it simply because they wanted to make something like that. And that's great. That's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want when designing a game like this. But I feel like Battlefield 1 should have really been something that was kind of, I don't know, a callback, something to an older style of gameplay that could have been something far more enjoyable, something that focused on the strategy, the elements of teamwork, that kind of stuff. But really what you're seeing in this game doesn't say any of that. It just feels like a mindless experience. And I was really hoping after so many years of Battlefield games that DICE would have tried something different, tried to bring something new to the table. But as far as I can tell, if you're a fan of any of the much newer Battlefield games, you're probably going to like this one, I guess. Don't expect anything else.